I don't know if you lot have seen the prices of speaker stands these days, but they're horrendous. I bought myself a couple of studio monitors to help with audio, and there's no way I'm paying a monkey for 2 little speaker stands. It's crazy, so I'm going to make my own. I'm making these speaker stands out of anything I can find, really. And this tabletop was, I think, the second tabletop I ever made in my life, and I listened to too many people on YouTube talking about how you should alternate the grain, smile, frown, and show you this is bull. Not that this is the best example, but if you alternate the grain like that, you just end up with a wavy board and miss all those dominoes so they don't show, eh? Ideally, you'd use quarter sawn boards for a tabletop and rift sawn for the legs, all of which can come out of a flat sawn, crown sawn board. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the sound of a dull blade. Bollocks. Can you see it yet? This reminds me of whack-a-mole. There it is. That's where the pennies dropped. Oh, fuck. I would suggest if you're going to plunge the domino back in the other side, when that glue's still wet, to give it a wide berth and let all that dry up before you do that. Don't ask me how I know that. Anyway, let's get on with the meat and potatoes here. This is how I go about shaping, sculpting by hand. Pretty much draw as many craft lines as I possibly can. If you had any sense more than me, previous to this, before you put in the screw threads, you would have also used the compass and drawn a nice circle to work to, which I completely forgot about. Yeah, it's definitely one of those days I was having here. So basically just draw as many craft lines as possible, as accurately as possible, and work to them like with anything really. Now I bet you're wondering, what the fuck is he doing using a hand plane to do this? It's sharp, it was close, but no problems using it. Now, a round surface is basically just a lot of straight lines, just so small you can't actually see that they're a straight line. So if even something with a flat base like a hand plane, it's still going to give you a rounded edge if you're good with it. I thought I'd pop this in and show you with a chisel how I'm working that hand plane. Basically, I start taking a lot of meat off at the front or the other side like this and work my way back slowly. Invariably will give you a taper like that. That's more than likely going to give you a bit of a belly though, which you can easily quickly get rid of with a fine rasp. And like anything, check your angles. I like to do 2 at a time. If you're doing all 8 legs at a time, it gets monotonous. You're not going to notice if the 2 at the back are going to be slightly different either, visually I mean. What I've done here is using a rasp at about a 2-3 degree angle is create that step. The little lines there are about 8 mil away from that thread insert. Now you want to go over to the other side and repeat the same. The muscle memory will help you pretty much copy what you've just done. Whatever you do, work close to your line, don't work right up to the line, leave half a mil-ish. You'll have problems when you come to sanding later. And repeat again, but leave a slight step so you've moved slightly outwards, and then do it again on the other side. Then a third time, but now to get your taper, you basically want to join the dots, the lines in this case, working upwards consistently as you work round, almost using the same amount of strokes upwards. Don't just go full ham and try and get this equal, because you won't. You kind of need to work consistently to achieve this. A little tickle on the base, give it a bit of a clean up, tidy up, and then use whatever you like really. Then move over to the other side and do rinse and repeat basically. I'm working in the senses of I'm working in quarters. So I've done the first quarter of the inside legs, and now I've got the other 3/4 of the round to do. So now I've done exactly the same process on the next quarter and worked to my lines and just repeat that. Now, if I was to do this again, which I probably will do because this was more of a rush job just to get these speakers up to the correct height, I'd probably use holly and brown oak for the legs and holly for the base for the speakers to sit on. Basically, my setup at home on my desk where I do my editing is pretty much brown, aluminium and white, so I kind of wanted the colours to match, and I took these stands home and put them on the table, and boy were they grinning at me, and they just looked fucking ugly. They weren't white enough. So you're going to hate me for this, but needs must. I know what I want. I know what look I'm after, and it's only ash really at the end of the day. So in order to achieve the colours I'm after, I'm taking a bit of a chance because trying to stain the legs and not the top part is going to be a bit of a nightmare. So I'm trying to open up the dovetail joints just a hair, and then I'll put some masking tape in and try and run my nail into the masking tape, which is just overhanging that line, in the hope that it won't let the stain bleed into the top. I have no idea whether this is going to work. Oh, I do now. But that's the plan. Boy, do I hate masking stuff off. Have you ever tried to paint a car? You know just what I mean. People do that for a living. I wonder, do you question them? Taping stuff up. You must be getting some jollies out of that. So here we go. No guts, no glory, eh? Fingers crossed. I'm using a spirits-based stain here for a couple of reasons. One, I can't stand anything water-based. It's usually crap. Mainly because alcohol-based stuff is going to flash off faster and hopefully have less time to seep underneath that masking tape. I'm using a walnut stain here, and although it looks pretty weak at the end, I do about 3 coats, and I do hit it with a heat gun, the air-powered ones, to make it flash off faster. And there is a problem with spirits-based stains, is after the first coat you can end up dragging around the previous coat, but you kind of got to be quick with it and not brush it so much, if you know what I mean. You literally brush over the first coat in one go. You don't start pushing basically the pigment about, and then it's all good really. Like I said, I gave them 3 coats. The best part about masking tape is peeling it off. It's like peeling glue off your fingers if you use them as glue spreaders. I'd call that a win. First win of this whole fucking project. Not too bad, eh? Not too shabby. Obviously, I use the term shabby pretty fucking loosely. That's a train wreck. Now I've just got to smash on some chalk white paint. I know, it gets worse. First he's staining it, now he's going to fucking paint it. Oh, I just wish I'd had some holly kicking around the workshop like we all do. Not. And then just bust some wax on that ass. Over the whole thing, I mean.
So, slip your pants off and let's take a listen to the final product.
on, go on, go on.
Go on. Go on.